You are about to do a problem solving lab where you are going to have babies that are switched after they're born, and you're going to use blood typing in order to figure out which babies go with which parents. So before you get into that, I want to give you an example of how you do those Punnett squares and how all that works, since I'm not here to go over it with you. So, um, let's talk about the 4 different blood types, and you guys just watched the video, so you should be pretty good with this. So, blood type A, okay, so notice blood type A, it's being demonstrated with like these little circles on there, okay? So it's blood type A because it has that certain part on its cells, right? So blood type A could be an A and an A, or blood type A could be an A with an O because the O is the most recessive, which means the A covers up the O. So either one of these genotypes would give the A blood type. So blood type group A, these up here are actually like saying that these are all of the phenotypes. Okay, phenotypes are blood group AB, or O. Okay, the genotypes that could give us the A phenotype. So down here, I'm going to write the genotypes that could go along to make these. Okay, so the genotypes could be AA or AO. Okay, then we have another one that, notice these are a different shape. Okay, so that's what makes them the B. So to have B blood, you could have a B and a B, or you could have a B and an O because that O again is the recessive, so the B is going to cover that up and dominate it. Okay, now here's where the crazy thing happens. So notice the AB blood type has both the little circles and it has these little triangles, or well, they're more like squares on there. Okay, so both of those show up. So think about which type of dominance do we know when both alleles show up? Okay, so remember, this is going to be our example of codominance. That's when they both show up. Okay, so AB is codominance, and the only way to get it is if you have an A allele and a B allele. That's the only way you can get that one. Okay, and then the O blood group, notice, well, it shows them having little sticks, but basically the O doesn't have anything on it at all. It doesn't have A and it doesn't have B. So the O can only be an O if we have 2 O's because that is the most recessive. Okay, so it's multiple alleles because we have multiple options. We got the A's, we got the B's, and we got the O's, but it's completely dominant A over O or B over O. Okay, and then the O and O, the only way we can get those is if we have both of them because they are the most recessive. Now, let's see how we can use this to figure out what possible babies could be born from different parents with different blood types. So we're going to use this example of a parent with O blood and another parent with O blood and see what could happen. So let's look at our first case, and this is similar to the cases that you are going to be doing today. So definitely follow along and see how I figure out which thing goes where because you're going to need to be able to use this. So remember the phenotype is the blood type. So it's O blood. Parent 1 is O blood. And then parent 2 is also O blood. So the genotype I could have for that for an O parent would be OO. And there's no other option. And the only thing I could have for this with OO would be right here. So this is probably almost too easy, right? But let's do how we would do the Punnett square. So we'd have an O and an O, and we'd have an O and O. So obviously we're going to have all O's in the middle. So the baby's phenotype, remember we're talking phenotype, so that's their blood type. They are going to have O blood. Okay, so parents with both O bloods, that's the most recessive. They can only have babies with O blood. Okay, now let's look at our second case. Let's say we have a parent with 2, they're both A blood. So our phenotype is A and A. So we could have a parent that has A blood or and AA blood, or we could have a parent with A and AO, And actually, in this one, we could have a third one. We're just going to do 2 of these examples, but we could also have AO crossed with AO, right? So there's 3 actual options that we could have there. For this example, we're just going to worry about the 1 for now. So I'm going to start with this genotype option right here, and I'm going to put it right here on these boxes, which there's not a whole lot of room, so bear with me. So we've got the AA, so we're going to do an A on top and an A on top. And on the side, I would do an A and an A, so that's pretty easy. They're all going to be A's, right? So there we go. Now, what if it is an A, and an A, O? Then that's going to give me all A's. But this one's going to give me an AO and an AO. So in this case, all of these are going to give me blood type A blood. These boxes have different genotypes, but AA and AO are both going to give me A blood, so my only option is A blood. Is there any way I could get O blood out of this group? If I did this one, could I get any O blood? So I'm going to scoot this one up here on top so that we can see what that one might look like. Ooh, or I could just erase. Give me a second. Let's, whoops, not highlight, erase. Okay, let's use this Punnett square and see what would happen if we did A and O both. So we would do A, O, and A, O. So we do A, O, and OO. So if they were both AO blood, there is a chance, even though it's little, there is a chance that they could get that O blood. Okay, so my baby phenotypes could be A blood or O blood if those were the parents. So see how I had to try all the different options in order to figure that out. So if I had parents and I'm like, oh, my parents have, my baby has O blood, would I know that that parent is for sure from this group? Let's say these got mixed up, right? So if both babies had O blood, they actually could have come from either parent. So that wouldn't give me enough information. So that could be a problem. But if this baby for sure had A blood and this baby for sure had O blood, then I would be able to say, oh, the only way to get A blood is from this parent that both had A blood, because A blood parents couldn't have a baby with O unless it's AO, right? So that wouldn't be a way of explaining it. So instead, I would have to look at this. If it is a baby with A blood, is there any possibility that it could be this parent over here? No, because these parents could not have A blood. It's not a possibility. So it for sure can't be these. So then I know for sure that's where they would have to go. So that's what you're going to be doing today. You're going to be doing the Punnett squares to try to figure out which parents had which babies. Okay, and that is going to be turned in for a grade, so I need you to really work hard on it.